Timmy, Binky, and Wiggy exchanged bewildered glances. Liverpool was famous for something far more thrilling than bad weather. It was the birthplace of their beloved band, the Beatles. With a twinkle in their eyes, they decided to turn their unexpected layover into a grand adventure. Their friends, whiskers tingling with delight, greeted them at the hotel, where they were welcomed with open arms. The hotel, adorned with Beatles memorabilia, was a dream come true for the feline Beatles enthusiasts. As Timmy, Binky, and Wiggy entered the legendary Cavern Club, the thumping bass and the soul-stirring music enveloped them. The club was an underground haven of rock and roll history, and the trio couldn't have been more excited to immerse themselves in the atmosphere. They found a cozy spot near the stage, their eyes wide with anticipation. The energy in the room was infectious, with people of all ages dancing and singing along to the Beatles' tunes. The cats couldn't help but sway to the rhythm, their tails twitching in time with the music. As the night wore on, the cats' excitement escalated. They felt an irresistible urge to get closer to the action. Sneaking past the bustling crowd, they somehow found themselves backstage, hidden in the shadows. There, they watched the talented musicians perform, their eyes gleaming with admiration. But it didn't take long for their adventurous spirits to get the best of them. Timmy, who fancied himself a bit of a singer, made a bold move. He leaped onto the stage and, with a meow that sounded more like a yowl, tried to join the band in singing Rocky Raccoon. The audience's laughter mingled with cheers as the bewildered band members tried to keep the rhythm while Timmy meowed his heart out. His yowling and erratic dancing caused mayhem on the dance floor. Binky and Wiggy, not to be outdone by their fearless friend, decided to show off their dance moves. They pranced across the stage, their tails arched high, weaving between amplifiers and microphone stands. Their nimble acrobatics added a whimsical touch to the performance. The crowd was in stitches, and the club's atmosphere transformed from sheer admiration to uproarious amusement. People clapped along to the cats' antics, and some even attempted to dance like them. As their song came to a close, the cats reluctantly left the stage, their hearts pounding with exhilaration. They returned to their spot near the stage, panting and giggling like mischievous kittens. The night continued with even more Beatles classics, and the cats, now celebrities of the Cavern Club, were greeted with smiles and nods from the audience. After their antics on stage, they had received a hearty applause from the audience, and some kind-hearted clubgoers even bought them saucers of milk to celebrate their unique performance. The cats had indulged a bit too much in these treats, and the combination of excitement, dancing, and the unexpected milk feast had taken a toll on their feline physiques. As the night drew to a close, the cats were exhausted but elated. They had unwittingly become a part of Liverpool's rock and roll history, leaving their mark on the city that had birthed the music they cherished. The cats left the Cavern Club with fond memories and a sense of accomplishment, their night of mayhem becoming a legendary tale among Beatles fans for years to come. It was a night to remember, though a bit embarrassing when they saw videos of their antics the next morning. As the morning sun filtered through the curtains of their hotel room, they groggily stretched their whiskers and realized the consequences of their indulgence. Their heads throbbed, their fur felt unkempt, and their stomachs churned like a tempestuous sea. Timmy, Binky, and Wiggy, despite their love for adventure, had never experienced a hangover quite like this. They spent the morning curled up in their hotel room, nursing their headaches and sipping water, all the while reminiscing about their unforgettable night at the Cavern Club. The hangover was a reminder that even cats, when they overindulge, must face the consequences the morning after. That afternoon, they joined a tour of the Beatles' former homes, which was a poignant experience. They started at 20 Forthlin Road, where Paul McCartney had lived during his teenage years. The house, a modest but cozy abode, was filled with memorabilia, giving the cats a glimpse into Paul's early life. Binky, a proficient pianist, couldn't resist the lure of Paul McCartney's piano. When the tour guide momentarily left the room, Binky dazzled fellow tourists with some boogie-woogie piano, leaving them in awe. Their next stop was Mendip's, John Lennon's childhood home. Here, they wandered through the rooms where John had grown up. The cats marveled at the family photographs and handwritten lyrics on display. As they stood in the garden where John had penned some of his earliest songs, they couldn't help but feel a deep connection to the iconic musician. The tour continued to Ringo Starr's and George Harrison's childhood homes. The cats listened intently to the stories about the young Beatles honing their musical talents and forging their lifelong friendship. Their final day in Liverpool was spent at the Beatles Museum, where they reveled in the history of their favorite band. The cats felt more connected to the Fab Four than ever before, absorbing every piece of memorabilia and soaking in the magic of their journey. The Beatles Museum was a treasure trove of memorabilia, and the cats were in awe as they stepped inside. The museum was a colorful journey through the Beatles' illustrious career, filled with guitars, costumes, and personal belongings that had once belonged to the Fab Four. Timmy, Binky, and Wiggy spent hours exploring every nook and cranny of the museum. They marveled at John's round glasses and tambourines, Paul's iconic Hofner bass, George's sitar, and Ringo's famous Ludwig drum kit. The cats posed for photos beside life-sized cutouts of the band and playfully reenacted famous album covers. Their favorite exhibit was a replica of the famous Abbey Road zebra crossing. The cats couldn't resist recreating the iconic album cover, with Binky taking on the role of John, Timmy as Paul, and Wiggy filling in for George, all while an amused museum-goer captured the moment. As they wandered through the museum, absorbing the history and stories of the Beatles, they felt a profound sense of connection to the band. They realized that their love for the Beatles wasn't just about the music, it was about the shared experiences, dreams, and passions that had brought these cats and the Fab Four together across time and space. Leaving the Beatles Museum, the cats felt a mixture of nostalgia and gratitude. Their journey to Liverpool had deepened their admiration for the band, and they knew that the memories they had gathered would stay with them forever. With hearts full of music, they continued their adventure, ready for whatever surprises lay ahead. The next morning, they made their way to John Lennon Airport, ready to return to London. However, in their post-museum euphoria, they boarded the wrong plane. It wasn't until they were soaring above the clouds that they realized their mistake. With a mix of panic and amusement, Timmy, Binky, and Wiggy found themselves on an unplanned adventure once more. They might not have landed in London, but one thing was for sure: wherever they ended up, it was bound to be a Beatles-worthy adventure they would treasure forever.